So our members, for the most part, the big food multinationals, have the resources, they have the engagement plans, they have the staff, whether it's through the procurement teams or whether it's through their sort of ag teams, are working with the farmers directly. So we tend to work through them and with them and empower them to work with the farmers.
My first question for you would just be to, share with us what the Cool Farm Alliance is and some of the things that they've been up to.
Thank you, John. So, the Cool Farm Alliance, we are a not for profit membership organization which comes together with the major food companies around the world to help develop tools and resources to support regenerative agriculture and the transition of agriculture. It started way back in 2008, where Unilever came together with the University of Aberdeen in the UK because they wanted to quantify their agricultural emissions for the crops that were being supplied to Unilever. They worked together and they also worked with the Sustainable Food Lab to develop a program that brought together the other food companies in. And over that time, from 2008 till today, we've gone from those original 3 companies who started us up, and we've now got over 190 members who are all using the Cool Farm tool across their supply chains to report and measure and monitor their agricultural emissions. So essentially, we come together to create that change, provide the tools and resources to support those companies and their supply chains. And ultimately, the Cool Farm tool itself acts as a sort of decision support tool that farmers can use to help them measure their GHG emissions, their biodiversity impact, their water impact. And they can use that information on farm as part of their farm management plan, with their agronomists, with their ecologists, to help identify opportunities to make improvements over time.
So, as I shared with you before we started, I'm a farmer myself. Explain to me how me as a farmer would be able to have access to this,
Mhm.
and then ultimately how I would use it on my operation.
The intention is for the Cool Farm tool to be provided free for farmers. We don't want the cost of it to be a barrier for farmers having access, and that's typically done through our membership. So by the food companies becoming members, they can then make it available to farmers. So any farmer can register for the Cool Farm tool and sign up and use it. They get 5 free assessments just to kind of see if they like it,
Okay.
the look and feel of it. And then if they're supplying to one of our members, then our members have what's called a group code, and the farmer can enter that group code into the Cool Farm tool, and that unlocks the full functionality and allows them to do more assessments. And then essentially what the tool does is it looks for your primary activity data that's going on it for creating your footprint. So our assessments for the Cool Farm tool are done on a crop basis. So if you're a corn farmer and you've got your corn crop, you would complete an assessment for your corn crop, for your field. I know the farms are big, and what a farm is differs around the world to how big it is.
What types of efforts have you been taking to get this product in front of farmers and to educate farmers that it's out there?
We're a small secretariat who run the Cool Farm Alliance. There's only 18 of us, and so we're not resourced to actually sort of get out there necessarily directly with farmers. We have done a little bit of that, but typically it's been through our members. So our members, for the most part, the big food multinationals, have the resources, they have the engagement plans, they have the staff, whether it's through the procurement teams or whether it's through their sort of ag teams, are working with the farmers directly. So we tend to work through them and with them and empower them to work with the farmers.
So I think probably one question that I know always comes to the mind of any farmer or probably any individual for that matter when you get into this type of product is the data and the privacy that goes along with that. Explain to myself and the listeners, how do you guys address that? How do you maybe mitigate that or look at it in that way?
There's a lot of for-profit companies that are out there looking to get their hands on farmers' data and obviously sell the farmer services, but also potentially to, in one way or another, exploit that data. So we don't do that. We have a data protection policy, and essentially our data processing is to return the results to the farmer or to the user who's inputting that data. We don't share your data or your results with anybody. You have the ability within the tool for the farmer to authorize the sharing of that data to their supply chain. So for instance, if you're as a corn grower are selling your corn to Unilever, It might be that Unilever want your assessment data as well, so that they can include it as part of their Scope 3 emissions reporting. But you, as the farmer, would permission that, and we have something called share codes where you would enter Unilever's share code. You're permissioning that assessment for them to be able to access the results to incorporate within their sort of supply chain reporting. But that power to do that and that decision to do that is held by the farmer. So we can't and won't do that. So there's some additional value we can provide back to users in the supply chain of the industry more generally with aggregated data that sits within the Cool Farm. But at no point are we going to be sharing any personal data or any identifiable data that can come back to those totally valid concerns about data protection and sharing.
If a listener sitting here today and has been, really intrigued by what they're hearing, such as I have, how can they, reach out and find more? What's the best way to do that?
So I think there's two. There's our website has got general information, so that's coolfarm.org. If you just Google that, you'll come across us. But the other thing is then get in touch with us. Email us at support@coolfarmtool.org. And you'll be able to get in touch with us as well. We're lovely to hear from you.
Why are farmers in the Cool Farm Alliance so relaxed?
Oh, wow. I think because they're part of a broader family.
That's probably more the way I would go as well. For today, it's really because they're part of an alliance that's cooler than a cucumber. So